Hello friends, we will be starting with our first chapter of English. The book is NCRT Flamingo, the last lesson. The chapter's name is, the author of the chapter is Alphonse Daudet. Yes, he was a French novelist and a short story writer. The last lesson is set in the days of Franco-Prussian War, in which France was defeated by Prussia, led by Bismarck. Prussia then consisted of what now are the nations of Germany, Poland, and parts of Austria. In this story, the French districts of Alsace and Lorraine have passed into Prussian hands. Read the story to find out what effect this had on life at school. So this the last lesson. This chapter has been written by a French novelist, and it is of the time when there was war between France and Prussia. Now the major parts of Prussia are included in Germany, Poland, and some are in Austria. But at that time, all that parts were together known as Prussia. There was a nation, Prussia. So during that war, what happens is the French lose that war, and the districts of Alsace and Lorraine are passed on into Prussian hands. So this story is all about a school student and the teacher, their thoughts about that situation. Okay, so now let us read the story. I started for school very late that morning and was in great dread of a scolding, especially because M. Himmel had said that he would question us on participles, and I did not know the first word about them. For a moment, I thought of running away and spending the day out of doors. It was so warm, so bright, the birds were chirping at the edge of the woods and in open field back of the sawmill. The Prussian soldiers were drilling. It was all much more tempting than the rule for participants. But I had the strength to resist and hurried off to school. This is about a student, and he is off to school. He is going to school and he is late actually, and he has a homework given by the professor, that is M. Himmel, of learning the participles, but he has not done the homework. He finds the weather, the atmosphere, the surroundings very bright and all, but still he resists everything and hurries off to school. Okay, next part. When I passed the town hall, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board, and for the last 2 years, all our bad news had come from there. The lost battles, the draft, the orders of the commanding officer, and I thought to myself without stopping, what can be the matter now? Then, as I hurried by, as fast as I could go, the blacksmith, the watcher, who was there with his apprentice reading the bulletin, called after me, "Don't go so fast, Bub. You will get to your school in plenty of time." Okay, so this is of the period where there were no television and all. The current internet and everything was not available. So the news were put on the bulletin board. So there was a battle going on between the France and the boy, and the boy is living in France. Okay, so all the news, the bad news or the good news, whatever be of the war and all, were put on the bulletin board. The boy sees that there was a huge crowd over there, that means there was some kind of news on the bulletin board. Maybe that was not a good one. Yes. And two people who had already read the news, the blacksmith and the watcher, they were saying to the boy who was hurrying to the school, running away for the school, that please don't go so fast, and you have lot of time. That means that still there is lot of time to reach the school, you are not late. That is the message. I thought he was making fun of me and reached M. Himmel's little garden all out to breath. So now, what was the child thinking? He was thinking that these two people are making fun of me. They know that I'm late for school. That's why they are making fun of me and telling me all that. So, and reached M. Himmel's little garden all out of breath. All out of breath, the phrase means that he was running. He was running. Usually, when school began, there was a great bustle, which could be heard out in the street. Bustle means lot of noise. The opening and closing of desks, lessons repeated in unison very loud. That means the lessons that are repeated by all the students together. That means unison. Very loud with our hands over our ears to understand better, and the teacher's great ruler rapping on the table. But now it was all so still. I had counted on the commotion to get to my desk without being seen. But of course, that day everything had to be as quiet as Sunday morning. Through the window, I saw my classmates already in their places, and M. Himal walking up and down with his terrible iron ruler under his arm. I had to open the door and go in before everybody. You can imagine how I blushed and how frightened I was. The description is given about the classroom. So school have had already begun, and there was a lot of noise over there, and all the students were already in their place. Teacher was ready with a scale. Yes, just like a usual thing. But nothing happened. M. Himal saw me. So this child, this boy was thinking that when the teacher will see him, he will scold him for being late. But nothing like that happened. When M. Himal saw him, he said nothing. He said very kindly, "Go to your place quickly, little friends. We were beginning without you." So these are the words of the teacher, that we were going to begin the chapter without you. Kindly take your place. I jumped over the bench and sat down at my desk. Not till then, when I had got a little over my fright, did I see that our teacher had on his beautiful green coat, his frilled shirt, and a little black silk cap, all embroidered, that he never wore except on inspection and prize days. The description is given about the teacher's dress, about the coat that teacher had wore, and generally the teacher, uh, M. Himal, never wears such kind of dress except on the occasional days. Besides, the whole school seemed so strange and solemn. But the thing that surprised me most was to see on the backbenches that were always empty, the village people sitting quietly like ourselves. Old Osser, with his cornered hat, and former mayor, the former postmaster, several others besides. Everybody looked sad, and Hauser had brought an old primer, thumbed at the edges, and he held it open on his knees, and his great spectacles lying across the pages. Now, usually on the back benches were empty. Yes, but now today, what the boys see that there are village people sitting over there. And who are the people? The old horser. Yes, he has worn a three-cornered hat. There is a former mayor, there is a former postmaster, and there are several other people. Yes, everyone is sad over there. Everyone is not happy. Horser has also brought a old primer thumbed at the edges, and he held it open on his knees with his great spectacles lying across the pages. The picture is given over here. The man is wearing spectacles. Spectacles means the glasses. The hat of the man, and the and uh, and the page that is looking on. Yes, so this is the description that the man who is described over here, that is Hauser. The picture has been given of him over here. We will end the lecture for today and continue the next day. Thank you.